I'm excited to interview Hunter because, man, his story is amazing. And I just thought that this would be just something powerful to do and encouraging as we're going through like this crisis, man. It's been crazy. So with everything that's going on, how are you doing right now?
I'm good, man. I'm just trying to stay busy, and it's a good time to spend time with family right now, and for us to become even closer with each other. So I'm just enjoying that time, and obviously with traveling and being a player, I mean we're gone from our families for a long time. 5 6 months for the season, and obviously spring training is like a month. So like we're gone from our family for a while. You know what I mean? So the time that we have right now is pretty special. Obviously this sucks for everyone, but it's a time to get closer with our fam. So,
Most definitely. What have you learned? Like you just said, you've been enjoying time with family. What have you learned about yourself in the situation? What has it brought out of you or anything?
Man, I think, obviously on the health side, like, trying to be respectful with others, and, people that, might have a weak immune system or something, and just being aware of that, on that side. But like I said, I think being able to appreciate this time with my family and to be with them and to learn more about each other, and just I guess make each other better, and try to find little activities or things that can bring us closer together and stuff that we have in common. So I think we have an opportunity to do that now more than ever. So.
Definitely. And I met your parents. Your parents are amazing. I really like, even when I met you, like, I was like, man, you an old soul. Like, for real. I know people have said that to you, but like, I'm just thinking, like, because I know your parents have really been an impact in your life, your mom and dad. What are some advice or something that they've put in you that's really helped you out in your life, you would say?
Oh man. There's so many lessons that they've handed down and have taught me. I think the most important is continuing to work and never getting complacent. I think that's extremely important for anybody in their careers, and for anybody that wants to do what they really love and have a passion for, is not, being okay with just where you are, no matter how successful you are. And I think just continuing to better yourself and to find the things that, that you can still work on and improve. And you might master, a bunch of things, but I know you can always get better, and to add on top of that and to continue to get better in whatever you want to do. So I think continuing to challenge yourself and not being okay with just, where you are. And I think just continuing to get better. Not being happy with where you are, and not, obviously it's important to step back and like appreciate the work you've put in, and to be present in the moment, and to appreciate it, and realize how special you are, and all the success that you've had, but to also be able to balance that out with not just being okay with it, to still push and to get better.
Most definitely. Now I want to try to take this back a little bit to the young hunter, the child hunter, because when we're kids, we have dreams. Like I had a dream of being a professional skateboarder. You had dreams. I want to start with, how did, like, when you were growing up, what was your childhood like?
Oh, you mean with baseball, or just in general? Or?
Yeah, with, like, for the person you are today. I mean, you have discipline. Were you always like that, or was this something your parents like really molded you to becoming?
No, my parents definitely molded me into. I wasn't like an awful kid. I wasn't a kid that was a bully or anything like that. So I think I was born with some of those character traits and those values. But also, there can be kids that have amazing parents, and are just great parents, and they're able to provide the kids with everything, but the kid still has to do his part. You have to meet the parents halfway at least, and still be a good kid and listen to them, and still go out in the world and practice those lessons and those teachings that your parents give you. So I think, being able to understand those at a young age and to understand those values and those principles and to be able to implement them in my life at a young age helped me just continue to do that as I got older. And it's helped me not just in baseball, but just, in business deals or relationships and the people that I've met and being able to walk into a room and obviously, what you do on the field speaks for itself, but also how you carry yourself as a young man and as a person is just as important, if not more important.
Yeah. What were the top values that you think have helped you or molded you? Like the top values you would say for people that are watching that's helped you?
Oh man, well the 5 pillars. I mean, I know you.
Explain them. Tell them.
You're waiting on that.
Yep.
Well, I think the 5 pillars is integrity, humility, compassion, courage, and discipline. And for me, obviously I'm not I don't keep those 5 pillars in my head because now it's just instilled, and I don't have to think about it when I go out. It's not okay, I got to remember these 5. This is how I'm going to act today. You know what I mean? It's not like that. But it definitely has helped with, like I said, my interactions with others and just growing and venturing out and, not just my relationships on the field with players and with coaches and interviewers, whoever it may be, but also, presidents of teams, general managers, and it's helped with all that. And I think that people are able to see that right off the bat. When you walk into a room or you meet somebody or shake their hand for the first time, people are able to see those values. And obviously you learn more about a person, throughout the relationship. But I think people have a pretty good idea when they meet someone that has their stuff together, and that's a good person.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to Jeff Woods, Dr. Jeff, for the 5 pillars that he just mentioned.
Just dropped.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of humility, okay, so you're young, I read that your dad was driving you from where you live to Compton to practice. Tell us about that experience and just how that was, because a lot of people, they say, look, man, I ain't going to Compton. I ain't stepping a foot there. I've heard these rumors. But you went there. So tell us about how that was and what you learned.
Yeah, no, we had, I had friends and teammates that, our family, my dad and I had told them about the Compton Academy, the Urban Youth Academy out there, and how beneficial it has been and how much it's helped me on and off the field as a person and as a player. And they were still, nervous about going out there. And because, all the things you hear about Compton, South Central out there is, obviously something that you don't want to be around. But really, the time that I was there, and obviously I've been out there a bunch of times, it's not that bad. Obviously you have your places out there, but, you continue to be respectful and you don't do anything that's stupid. You know what I mean? You just carry yourself. But with the academy, I went down to the Urban Youth Academy when I was 7 years old. So that was my first year there. The Urban Youth Academy was created by the Dodgers and the Angels, obviously the MLB. So they came together, created this first academy. Now they have a whole bunch throughout the country and overseas and stuff. But I started when I was 7. It was special, man, because at that age and still to this day, the best thing about, not the best thing, but one of the best things about being a player and, football, basketball, whatever it is getting free gear. You know what I mean? All the cool swag, the swag bags, all the cleats, gloves, bats, all that stuff. So that was really cool to get that. Every time I went to the academy, there was something new that I was getting. It was new bags or, new batting gloves, new bats, just something, you know what I mean? And a lot of kids at that age aren't able to get that. Obviously the little leagues aren't just giving gear out to players and stuff unless somebody's an alumni or, somebody's coming back and donating stuff. So that was pretty cool. And I think the best thing was being there was the coaches and the players that came back and helped out and volunteered. And most of the players and the coaches they all had big league time. They were all well experienced in the game. So that was
awesome. Professionals? Were these professionals?
Yeah, professionals. Yeah. So that was cool, man. Oh, I mean, a bunch. White Sox, Dodgers, like I said, Dodgers and Angels joined to
Okay.
create that complex. So a lot of Dodgers and Angels players would come. Um,
Did
a
they give you
bunch
any
of guys.
insight, any
Yeah.
secrets, anything that they told you that helped
Oh,
you?
yeah, dude. Every time it was awesome to just have that exposure and that and to be in that environment, that atmosphere with all those professional players at 7, 8 years old was special, man. Like they were dropping gems and just a whole bunch of obviously life lessons, but also the work ethic that has to be put in to get to that level and to get beyond that level and to just to be able to have that work ethic instilled in you now, so it's easier when the game gets harder.
Hmm.
So it was
Hmm.
really cool, man. It was awesome, and obviously the competition there was a lot better than what I was facing if I were to be at a little league or something like that. The players
Hmm.
are better on the out in LA, Orange County area.
Hmm.
So that's where all the competition was coming from. So it was awesome, man. It was a great experience, and I've been able to go back to the academy since being drafted, and I did one of my baseball camps there, so that was cool to be able to give back.
Oh,
Um, and I've been to other academies just in Houston and a couple others. It's been a while, but it's been pretty cool, man. It's nice.
that's great because we all need mentors. We all need people to help us. So
Right,
thank you for that. With in life, I feel like not everything goes our way, and sometimes we can be rejected. And I
right.
also read that you were rejected. I think you were trying to transfer to a school, and they rejected you, and you were, I think, in seventh grade. So how did you get through that, or how did you not let that just hurt your feelings too bad, where you're like, oh, I don't want to move forward, or how did you just see the positive through that, or what did
Yeah.
that
So I
teach you?
was I was applying to oh man, was I applying? I think I was applying to Harvard Westlake just for high school. I don't think it was for middle school, from what I
Mm-hmm.
remember. I might be wrong, but I didn't get into Harvard Westlake. I ended up going to Notre Dame, which is still in that conference in that league. So we still played Harvard. But man, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was heartbreaking. I mean, when I didn't get in, I had put all my eggs in the basket. Like I was like that was the only school I had applied for. So I was devastated when I didn't get in. It was tough, and we sat together as a family and we opened the letter up together. And when I wasn't accepted, I cried. And it's like you said, it's a part of life, and we get rejected, and we just gotta be able to bounce back. And I mean, it was tough, man, and it was hard. And obviously, my mom had put in a lot of work with me. My mom and her being an educator, like she has a lot of pride in schoolwork. So it was tough when we didn't get in because we'd put in all this work. We had prepared for this huge exam, this entry exam, and
Wow.
I wasn't able to get in. So that was tough, man. And obviously, that was one of the best baseball programs really in the country. So I was really looking forward to playing there and being with those coaches. But I'm glad that I was able to go to Notre Dame, though, man. I mean, I had a great experience there, and I had a lot of buddies that were at Harvard Westlake. That it was such a rigorous school, and so was Notre Dame. But with my teammates and friends being at Harvard Westlake, it was tough for them to kind of have a life, and to be able to still go out and enjoy themselves and still have relationships with people. There was so much homework, so.
Okay.
I was glad that I was able to go to a school where I was able to balance that and still have, a social life and, have a great team and great coaches around me and people.
Great.
So,
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about high school, because I remember in high school, man, it's just you got the girls, you got.
obviously I wanted to go to parties. Every kid wants to go to parties. They want to go out with their friends. They want to be the cool guy. They want to feel accepted within those friend groups and stuff.
Mhm.
But for me, like I was always like super focused on what I wanted to do, and I didn't know that it was going to be professional baseball, but I knew I wanted to do something, in the sport and to be successful at it. So I started to figure out, or I didn't know much about the draft. I didn't know much about committing to schools and being committed to a college. So I kind of started figuring that stuff out throughout my freshman year, and then I ended up committing to UCLA. But I was always super focused. I mean, yeah, I wanted to go out. There were nights where it was like, man, I don't want to do this homework. Mom, can I please go out? Can I please go to this party? Like everyone's going to be there. All the girls are going to be there. You know what I mean? So, That was tough, you know, to go through that and, you know, to have to stay home and put the work in. But at the end of the day, man, like I look back and I see a lot of people that put that work off and they didn't handle their business and they wanted to party before handling everything else, you know, and looking back, I mean, a lot of the people that I went to school with, you know, a lot of them went to school and went to great colleges, but a lot of them also didn't, you know, and there's nothing, I mean, they're still young and they're still going to figure out what they want to do, you know, time's still on their side, but they are behind, you know, they're behind. So to be ahead of that curve and to be, already, I mean, I've been in the real world now since I was 17, you know, being drafted, having my own place, paying bills, like all that stuff, like at 17. So I've kind of experienced the real world at that age, and a lot of people aren't even there yet. You know what I mean? Because they didn't, and obviously, like I'm not saying that they didn't put the work in because they didn't become like professional players, or they didn't, you know what I mean? But
Right.
when that day came, when we were on that football field for graduation, like a lot of people didn't know there were a lot of people that didn't know where they were going. You know, I didn't have much of a plan. You know, and like I said, I mean, we're all young and, you know, we're still trying to figure it out. But if you can, you know, have that edge and that boost, you know what I mean, to know where you're going and to have a plan set out and to be focused on that plan, it makes it a lot easier to succeed.
Yeah, it sounds like you know, your parents helped you with that plan, and also like you had a discipline to see the end goal. Like you had it in mind. I want to be a professional baseball player. You stayed consistent. So that, you know, that's great. But there was a time too when your sister got sick, and you were still helping your sister, going through that, playing games. How do you do that? How do you? I mean, that's hard.
Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna say it was easy. Yeah, man, we were at the hospital at Kaiser Permanente out in Hollywood. We were out there, man, for 3 or 4 years, pretty much. Living in the unit in the hospital room.
Oh wow!
You know, because we're not gonna go back home and leave my sister, you know, and you know, in the hospital room. So we stayed. I was doing my homework. I remember sleeping on that little chair, you know, the chairs that
hard
they have
chair.
Yeah, putting chairs together, like trying to figure out, you know what I mean? So it was tough, man. Like obviously with Liberty battling, I mean, you know, we had to be there for her, and her being young, you know, obviously she doesn't know what she's going through. So, you know, she's oblivious to the whole process and to what's going on inside of her body. So, you know, we just wanted to keep her mind off of that and to keep her focused and in fighting shape, you know, and to be able to overcome that. And we did. You know, she was, I want to say she was diagnosed when she was 5. And she was in remission at the age of 9, I want to say. Yeah, so it was a long process, man. It was crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I think I was a freshman at Notre Dame once she was done, once she was in remission. But I was in my freshman year, you know, when she was still in the hospital. So I was doing my homework. I was driving from the hospital that morning into school, you know, for the first year, and it was tough, man. It was a lot of adversity that we went through, and we came out on top. So we're a strong family, man. We've gone through a lot, and you know, we've been able to figure it out and to get through it.
Right. That's exactly what I hear. I know that with your support helped your sister out so much. Just you guys being there, like you said, and I think that's, you know, we all need to hear that. We all need to think right now, like I said, we have this time to connect with our family, to talk things out. So that's, you know, that's super powerful. So you ended up, you know, being drafted, and that was, you know, with all your hard work, your discipline. But then I also read that you got injured. So tell me, with everything, you know, the buildup, you get drafted, you know, you're number 2 pick. You know, which was, you know, and they're comparing you to LeBron James and all these different, and then, you get drafted, but tell me about the injury and how you didn't let that slow you down and how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, man. So I ended up getting Tommy John surgery in April last year. So it's been a little over.
And what's Tommy John? For those who don't know, the Tommy John, what's that?
So Tommy John is a surgery in your UCL, in your ulnar collateral ligament. My brother over there crawling on the ground.
Okay, I didn't even see you. What's up, bro? That's cool.
Yeah, but it's a surgery you get from putting a lot of stress on your ligament, in your elbow in here.
Okay.
So, I mean, I first hit, like so I skipped 100. I ended up hitting 101 for the first time when I was, I was 17. I just turned 17 my senior year of high school. And obviously, I mean, so first, I mean, the throwing overhand isn't a natural movement. Throwing underhand is. So softball players a lot better on their arms. The human body isn't built to sustain that velocity, sustain 100 miles per hour plus. So throwing that at 17 years old, my body wasn't ready for it. You know, a lot of my muscles, my ligaments weren't developed yet, and they still aren't. You know, I'm still growing. I'm only 20, so my body is still, you know, trying to catch up and grow. So it was tough, man, to go through the surgery, and you know, it was a lot of emotions. You know, as a family, once again, sitting in a room. I think I just turned 19 when I was trying to make this decision. If I wanted to get the surgery now, because I was, you know, still young enough to where, you know, maybe I can rehab this thing. Maybe I'll be able to figure it out, and my body will heal itself, and I'll be good, right? But it wasn't just a minor tear; it was a full tear in my ligament. So I ended up, you know, I ended up doing the rehab. I started with that just to give myself a chance. You know, I think I deserve that, to not get cut on, being 19. So I rehabbed it for a couple months in Arizona at our spring training complex. Went through that process, you know, did my rehab exercises, did all my conditioning, lifted. I wasn't throwing, I was shut down, you know, just doing my rehab stuff.
Okay.
So that was that process there in Arizona for about 2.5 months. And then it didn't feel better. You know, every day I was still feeling that ache, that tightness in my elbow. So I ended up sitting down with the family, made a decision, decided to get my surgery with Dr. Elatrash in Los Angeles. So I got on April 9th of last year. And now I'm, you know, a little over a year and going through the rehab process. So with being shut down right now is crazy. You know what I mean? We can't, all the rehab players, I mean, everyone's affected by this, but, you know, it's weird because for the rehab guys, we're on a tighter routine and schedule than the other guys that are healthy and good, you know, because they're just practicing, playing, like throwing, working out, taking their ground balls, they're hitting, all that stuff. Yeah. But we got like a strict routine that we're following. We have a whole layout, a throwing program, progression, everything. So for this to get, you know,
from COVID to stop it, how does that?
Yeah. So our trainers and our strength coaches, I reached out to them. They sent me a whole program, a throwing progression to keep my arm in shape, to continue to stay in shape with my body, to continue to lift and condition. So I had them send me a whole layout. So I've been following that, and going from there. But it's tough, man, because I can't get like my full workouts in. You know what I mean? So long tossing is like when you throw a far distance with another partner. So instead of throwing like 60, 90 feet, you throw like 150 feet plus, you throw 200, 300 feet. So I'm not able to really get that work. And I was with my buddy, Justin, who, you know, was my best friend, and he's been catching me forever. But with all this stuff getting worse, you know, I really haven't been coming in contact with people. I've been trying to avoid that and stuff, but yeah, man, it's been crazy. So, you know, everyone's affected, everyone in their own ways, but, you know, we're going to look back and be like, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
No, seriously, like everything is shut down. Everything.
Well, what's crazy is like, you think about these teams and these organizations. And I think Trump is talking to the commissioners, today about it with every league, but there's such big companies and establishments and organizations. And it's like, at the end of the day, they're nothing. Like they're nothing. Cause like this whole thing trumps everything. Wow. You know what I mean? This stops everything. So really in the grand scheme of things, like NFL's not big, like, you know what I mean? Like you think about these, like these huge, well-established organizations and these companies, and they're nothing when it comes to this, you know, the whole world just gets shut down. So it's crazy to just think about that. Like, man, like really, like the season is suspended right
Yeah.
now. Like we're not, you know what I mean? That's nuts to me. That's crazy. You know, but
wow,
it is what it is.
right. It is what it is. Yeah, we're all here now to, you know, to do our reflecting and just to think about life in a whole different way. And I want to go back to what you said. You kind of skimmed over it, but you were throwing 102 miles an hour. Is that what you were mentioning? So for people who don't know, that's how fast he's able to throw at what, 18 or 17?
I was 17, yeah.
17, 100. Yeah. That's crazy. I can throw about a 10-mile an hour. That's all I got.
we gotta play catch, man.
Oh my god, I've played catch since
over.
Since I was about 8 years old. So that'll be definitely. I would love to. We have to capture that on film.
I'll teach you to play catch, and you gotta teach me how to do a kickflip.
Skateboard. Okay, deal. But but I
deal.
think first I want you to. I don't know if I should do that yet because I want to see you in the stadium. So I don't want you hurting yourself skateboard. You need to be in that stadium.
Yeah. So we'll do it in a controlled environment. We put like a bunch of pads around us or something. So if I slip and fall or something like that, I'm on the pads.
Definitely. Now I also know that your dad was cool. Like even when I first met your pops, man, he was cool. Just like, man, he's just a cool brother. Like I could just
chill.
And he also he just chill. But he also had, he said he was a private investigator. And then I also did some deep studying. And I read that he is a private investigator for some big celebrities, the Kardashians at one point, the Bieber. So with that being said, I know he's dropped some gems to you. And I wanted to know, how has he prepared you for the fame?
Oh, man. You know, to be honest with you, Matt, there's no handbook or anything to like prepare, you know, for that. It's experience, you know, but I mean, there's ways to help throughout that process of dealing with the people that, you know, are fans or people that come up to you and, you know, might want to get your autograph or take pictures and stuff. But there's no like handbook for it. You know what I mean? There's so many different personalities and so many people that you meet. You can't prepare yourself for that. You know what I mean? You just have to learn as you go and figure it out and figure out who you are as a person and figure out yourself and how you react to certain things, what you do, what you don't do, and just learn from there. You know what I mean? Hopefully you, like we were talking about earlier, all those principles and those values are instilled with you where it helps you navigate through that. But there's no like set handbook or it's set in stone, like what you should do or how you should follow it and how, you know what I mean, how you should act. Like,
okay, so you're saying that right now there's no handbook, but I would say, how do you, they always say, keep your circle small. How do you figure out who to trust, who to not trust? Like, how do you know? What's that discernment like for you?
Like, I mean, it's a learning process, man. Like you just, like, hopefully you know, like when you see someone or you meet someone, like you can figure out if they're a good person or not. Like you should have at least an idea of like, okay, like this person has the same values as me. This person doesn't. This person, you know, would be good for me in my circle to keep pushing me to get me better. This person would bring me down. Like you should kind of know, you know, who's in your corner and who would be a good person in your group. So, and obviously, you know, you learn as you go. Like you do have people that you end up bringing into your friend group or your family or your circle that really isn't your friend or really isn't looking out for your best interests. So you got to like learn through there, and hopefully you don't get hurt, you know, too bad in that process. Hopefully it doesn't mess up your life or you end up having to go to jail or something to that extreme. But it's all a learning process to me. Like that's been my experience, you know what I mean? And but it does help when your family is able to kind of drop those gems and help you throughout that process and give you things to at least think about. You know what I mean? So to like when you're in a situation that like that voice in the back of your head, like, Hunt, do you think this person is really looking out for you? Do you think this person has their best interest in what you're trying to do in life? And then you kind of like assess that and you answer yourself, you know what I mean? And hopefully you're just wise enough and you don't have to, you know, learn the hard way.
Definitely. And like I said, I had my experience in life too, betrayed by people. So I definitely understand this is you just go through life, but try to best to, like you said, have discernment.
Right. Yeah.
With everything being stopped, everything is shut down. We're having this time to self-reflect and be present. But what kind of things, even when this didn't happen, what kind of things have you kept in practice that kind of keep you at a peaceful place in life? Like what kind of things that you practice?
Yeah.
Is there anything
For
that?
me, man, yeah, going through this rehab and this process, it's the biggest adjustment and the biggest challenge has been being able to get through it in a good state emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Like, because the physical part, you know, obviously is a grind, but you figure it out and you get into a groove and you're able to get through it physically. Even though nothing is guaranteed, like you have a process and you know what you're doing when you step on the field or you step in the weight room or rehab center and still get after it and get through this and overcome the process and being sane during that process, you know what I mean, and being able to grow mentally. So for me, like the meditation has helped big time. Having my own place in Arizona has been able to help me with my alone time and learning more about myself, so that's been a good process for me. I mean, I love candles, man. So I'll like go grab some candles, set it up in my place, and it kind of sets the mood a little bit, helps me relax. Um, but the meditation that I do, like I'll grab one candle and I'll put it like in my living room or I'll put it like in my bedroom on, you know, a nightstand or something like that. And just focus on the candle and just watch its movement and just like appreciate what that candle's doing and like just chill. You know what I mean? Not try to force like to feel a certain way or to like, oh man, now I feel relaxed. Like don't force it, just let it kind of happen. And for me, that's helped a lot with my meditation and getting into a good space mentally and spiritually. So that's helped like just kind of, because throughout the day, man, like we have so many thoughts and emotions, you know what I mean, that could really get the best of us. So I think being able to relax and to get back to ourselves and to have that alone time and to have that space is extremely important, you know, for everyone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not gonna be able to take care of anybody else.
Why is that, you know, important for you to give back? And talk a little bit about the sock drive that you did. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, I mean, there's so many reasons why it's important. You know, especially, well, even times like this, man, where families aren't, you know, families don't have the money or they don't have the support or the connections and resources to take care of themselves and their families and their children. So I think, you know, being able to, when I have that platform and those resources and those connections to make something happen, being able to follow through with it and actually do it and help people is like extremely important. And I think if everybody had that approach and that those feelings, you know, and those values and those principles that we were talking about, I think, I mean, the world, and I know the world would be a lot better.
Right.
You know, but it is what it is. And, you know, hopefully people are, you know, learning and will step up to the plate. But I think it first became important to me when, you know, I mean, I was once that kid, you know, obviously, you know, I have a great family and a great support group. And, you know, my parents, you know, we were able to take care of me and make sure I have all the gear, all the fresh gloves, like all that stuff. So I never had that issue, but my teammates and my friends that I saw that had that issue and didn't have those resources and those connections and didn't have the money to take care of themselves and their kids, was really tough to see. And to have, you know, my friends or my teammates, you know, having a really old glove or not being able to compete or do their best because they don't have what they need to meet the demands of the game, or, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
You know, once I became, you know, somebody with a big platform and, you know, met a lot of people that can make things happen and can get a lot of, get a lot of product and get gloves and bats and really just having that platform, even on social media, like all my charity, all my drives that I do, all that stuff. I post on Instagram, post on Twitter, and it just gets spread out to the world. You know what I mean? I'm able to connect with everybody just through social media, and that's how it is now. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are able to see like what I need or the drive that I want to do, and they're able to send, you know, whatever it is that year. You know, one of the years you brought up was a sock drive. So I'll go on Twitter, say like, I'm doing a sock drive this year. Everyone send like 2 or 3 pairs of socks, and usually like in exchange, like I'll send baseball cards or I'll send baseball signed or like bats or something like that. And that's usually like the bigger prize. So if somebody sends like, send 2 pairs of socks or 3 pairs of socks, and somebody sends like 10 pairs of socks or something, or 15, whatever that the highest number is, that person's going to get the biggest prize. So it can be like, it can be a baseball glove, it can be a bat. And then everybody else that sends like 2 or 3 pairs of socks will just get like a card or something, like a signed card. Yeah. So that'll kind of like motivate people to help and to send stuff. So once I get like all the socks, or one year I did like a hygiene kit. So I got like toothpaste, flosser, mouthwash, like deodorant. Yeah. So I like Q-tips, I think. So I put that hygiene kit together. Everybody sent them to the house or sent them to a PO address, to a PO box, and gathered all of them, and then took them to downtown LA, to Skid Row.
Oh,
yeah. So it's like my whole family. I usually pick a kid from like Notre Dame, you know, where I went to high school. I'll pick a kid from there to help out with the drive. Somebody that I think shares those same like values and principles as me, and that I kind of see myself in them. I'll pick one of those players from the baseball team, and I'll have them come out with us to downtown LA. Amongst, you know, some like Justin, who I was talking about, my best friend, will come. Just, you know, some people that, you know, are pretty tight or within my circle, and, you know, we help out, and we'll go down to downtown and hand them all out. And I think that human connection is extremely important, man. Like, not, you know, feeling like making the homeless folks like feel scared, or us feeling scared, you know, having that human interaction with them, or us like feeling like we're not safe, or like that they're not human, you know what I mean? And like having that connection and like embracing them in that exchange, like look them in the eye, give them the socks, or give them like whatever it is, and make them feel like appreciated, like, you know what I mean? And, you know, and it's a tough thing too, because like a lot of folks, like, you're dealing with mental illness and stuff, and a lot of the homeless folks don't want help, you know what I mean? They're mad at the world. They're mad at, you know, that they weren't able to have the life that they wanted, or the career they wanted. So they're mad, you know what I mean? And we have to be able to understand that going into that environment, and to take that into consideration, like throughout that exchange and those interactions. And know that like not every person is going to want these socks, you know, maybe they want food, you know what I mean? And that's actually what I did this past year. We did gift cards for like fast food spots, McDonald's, Jack in the Box, like whatever was in that area. And we did food cards. So, you know, everyone wants something different. And, you know, obviously there's people that do drugs. So like sometimes they'll use like, you know, they'll use the card, and, you know, instead of getting the food, they'll trade it for money to go get, you know, so like you can't control, like, once you give that person what they're going to do with it, you just got to know that you're trying to help.
Exactly.
But that interaction is so important, man. And like, and it sucks too, because like if I was homeless, like it would be like, why do you guys only come on Christmas, or why do you guys only come on Thanksgiving, one day out of the whole year? Like, I'm homeless 365. I'm not homeless just one day out of the year. So I could, you know, you got to understand that too. And it's messed up, you know what I mean? Like, like that's frustrating, you know, like why everyone wants to do this just for their selfish reasons, like to make them feel good. Like, you know what I mean? So there's a lot to think about when it comes to that.
Yeah, but the biggest thing, like I said, is you're doing something that, you know, like you said, connecting with people and helping others. And there are some people who maybe they have a lot, but they're not using what they have to help others. So I think that's the main thing that I got from you is, you know, whatever you have, use it to help somebody, use it to serve somebody, see people, you know, don't act like you're better than, you know, others. So I think a lot of people are going to, you know, take that and receive it.
And I think a lot of people, you know, they forget that, dude, you could end up on the streets so fast. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, including myself, like a lot of people are losing money throughout this
especially right now.
Yeah, people are, and like it can happen so fast, and you can end up right there. Not everybody on the streets wanted to end up being homeless. Like they didn't grow up like, oh man, can't wait to get on the streets. Like, you know what I mean? It's not. So a lot of people, I think, forget that, you know, and no matter how successful you are, like you can easily end up on the streets so fast.
That's true.
So I think like still, you know, don't dwell on it, but you gotta you still gotta think about that. You know what I mean? Be aware of that. you know, and you know, just know that can happen to you no matter who you are. You know, and hopefully your connections are good enough and you got enough, you know, you got enough options, and you know, that's not what's going to happen to you if everything, you know what I mean? Like you can fall back on some stuff, but it can easily happen. So,
well, let that keep everybody humble and humility.
Yeah, motivated too. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and motivated. And speaking of that, what keeps you motivated and excited about life besides baseball?
Besides baseball, yeah. For me, man, it's I think the most important thing is being able to provide for my family. You know, my dad's is really my biggest role model, the person I look up to, because I've never missed a meal, never had an empty refrigerator. Like we've always been taken care of. You know what I mean? He's always working as hard as he can, as hard as he can, and gets you know, as many cases as he can to take care of us. You know what I mean? To make sure that we're okay. And I think that's something to really, you know, focus on and to appreciate and to look up to. You know what I mean? When a man of the house, or, you know, a woman of the house, or, you know, whatever the family dynamic or situation is, to be able to go out and provide for your family. So I think, you know, it's nice, man. Like, yeah, the money's great, and to be able to, you know, it's just how we get paid in this line of work, and it's nice, you know what I mean? But
definitely,
you know, I think just being able to know that if I continue to work hard and be a good person, and continue to just be accepting of everyone, and you know, continue, like I said, just continue to work hard, I can help my family out, you know.
Definitely.
In the future, and my family's family, and you know what I mean. So generational wealth. To be able to.
What does that mean
to
you?
Everyone.
Yeah. What are you thinking when you say generation? We all say that, but you really can say that for real in the position that you're in. What is next? What are you thinking after you're in the Hall of Fame, or, you know, you're finished with? Is there what else is next? Do you have like dreams or visions, or?
I don't know, man. To be honest with you, like, I'm trying to chill. Like if I really have. If I really have the career that I want to have, you know, 20 years, I'm trying to chill. Like my dad said this to me the other day, a while ago. He was like, "Man, don't you want to like coach after, or like be a manager?" I'm like, dude, I'm not like playing 20 years. So, like, I want to chill. Like, I want to be able to chill when I want, not answer to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to go back and coach or manage or something, like I will, but I don't want to like have to, you know what I mean?
Right. Definitely.
I feel like I have to do, out of all the hard work that I've put in, and that, you know, everyone's putting in, like, I don't think anybody wants to have to really answer to somebody or feel forced to go work or to go provide for yourself or your family. Like, you know what I mean? We're putting this work in to be able to like live the life we want when we're done. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I've always, when I was younger, I did a lot of broadcasting. I think I would be good at that. You know, especially with, you know, hopefully I have this amazing career where I'm able to have that experience. Right. You know what I mean? And it's able to help with my broadcasting and with my announcing and stuff. And I'm able to.
Well, that's how we're going to connect. We're going to connect that way then.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah. Just know like what those players are going through, and to be able to like relate to them and actually know, instead of just like assuming or like trying to put yourself in their shoes, like to actually know what they're going through and how the season is and like all that stuff. And it'll just help with that process and with broadcasting.
I love it. That's cool.
Yeah, man. So I love painting. I've always been a good artist, so that would be cool. I mean, that's a really hard profession to make it in. Like, you got to be, you know what I mean? It's like, it's really hard.
But you're disciplined, so you never know. If you retire, then people go buy your stuff. You never know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's cool too. Like, adds more value, like who you are. Like, you know what I mean? So, like,
you never
know. You know, there's a lot of life left, and I don't know what I'm
young. You're still young.
But we'll see, man. It's exciting though. You know, I think if I really handle my business in this career right now, in this path, it is going to open a lot more doors.
Right.
And opportunities.
Well, Hunter, big thank you. I know that, you know, right now, whoever is watching, you got, somebody said, be a president. Right now, I want to, yeah, exactly.
I see that, yeah.
Right. I want everybody who's watching right now, if you have any questions for Hunter, please start typing away. Thank you guys for just tuning in and listening. You know, Hunter has a lot of good wisdom and advice. Shoot, I'm learning from him right now myself. So if you guys have any questions, let's list them. You know, he's on. He's excited. So just go ahead and let's see if anybody has any questions. Let's just wait one moment. Maybe some people will type something, and because right now we need community. Right now, a lot of people feel alone, isolated. Okay, somebody said us. Who was your childhood
inspiration?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my favorite player was Rafael Furcal when he was with the Dodgers. Being from LA, I went to a lot of Dodger games as a kid. And I think the most exciting thing was sitting like third base side, right by the third baseman, and being able to see Furcal that close up, and see him, you know, bring that excitement to a stadium and to fans and to people. And to bring that passion into the game, I think was awesome. A lot of people like appreciated that. And I know a lot of fans, like, you know, a lot of fans can be, you know, really hard on the players, and I know from experience and getting yelled at and stuff. But, you know, I think the fans just want to see, you know, the effort, and they want to see your passion, you know, when you play. I think if you're somebody that doesn't hustle and doesn't work hard and, you know, kind of takes things for granted and doesn't play as hard as they can at their best ability, then you give the fans, you know, a reason to really come after you and to heckle you. And watching Furcal, at least my experience watching him, I don't think anybody could have said anything bad about him, you know, and his effort on the field. So I think like seeing a single person bring that excitement to a whole stadium of 50,000 plus people, that's extremely special. So I would say that was my inspiration, you know, as well as my dad, you know, we were talking about earlier, and being a role model and being able to provide for the family.
Right. We have one from Chad Gerber. He said, what's your best home run memory?
Best home run memory. Shoot. I've had a couple grand slams. I can't remember them specifically, but those are always the best. Yeah, man, I don't know. There were a lot of home runs I hit in high school that were, I think, like, it was great, man. The home runs that I did hit, I didn't hit like a bunch compared to other people. I hit a good amount, but not like some other guys. But the home runs that I did hit were like special moments.
Cool.
So that was cool. Like, instead of it just being like just a home run, you know what I mean? Like, it was, you know, last inning or bottom of the seventh or down by one or something like that, and then I hit the game one. Like, I did that a lot, like when I did hit home runs, so that was cool.
And I've heard you hit out, what is it, in Chicago? You hit out that park too, right?
That was the home run derby.
Okay, the derby. Okay.
I mean, we could count. I mean, I don't know if you want to count that. That's a home run derby. That's not in the game. Yeah,
it's still dope. Okay, we got another. Yeah. We got another one from. We're gonna do two more questions because we're gonna, you know, Hunter's giving us a lot of time here, but we're gonna do two more. We got one that's really good from 1JDO. It says, "What challenges do you face being an African American pitcher in pro ball? What advice would you give a high school African American pitcher?"
Oh man, I'll start on the field first. On the field, man, to be honest with you, I really haven't had. When I was younger, I dealt with a lot of racial issues and, you know, with family members and families being jealous and all that stuff with playing time. You know, nothing new. Like, people are still dealing with that today, and will forever. But really on the field, like, as I got older, man, like, if you work hard enough, like, nobody can touch you. Nobody can say anything. No, like, if you perform and you're successful and you work your ass off, no one's gonna say anything. You know what I mean? They can't. And if they do, it's like, it's not valid because you know the work that you put in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you know that they're just hating. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what it is. You know, because you know that you put your work in.
But how do you, because I also read that they would call you the N word, but how do you not let? Because a lot of times if somebody calls us a name, we're gonna react to that. So how do you let them call you those names and you still be able to play or not want to fight them or?
Well, when I was younger, when I was called the N word and stuff, that was from parents and family members coming after my family. You know what I mean? Those were other families that were coming after us. And to be honest with you, I didn't really hear it because my dad did such a good job with keeping me away from that and him dealing it on his own. You know what I mean? With the other families. So I didn't really hear it as much. Now I will tell you, I have dealt with some stuff being in pro ball with players. You know, that's something that a lot of guys will deal with. You know, really African American players. There's so many players that are drafted from different parts of the country. You know what I mean? Where lifestyle's different, values are different, exposure is different. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, they don't have, you know, they might be in places in the South, you know, or certain places where they don't see a lot of black folks, and they don't see a lot of black folks succeeding and being successful. So when they do see that, it's new to them. You know what I mean? They might see it on TV, but they don't actually experience it.
Right.
You know, being around it, being with a kid or with a teammate that's black that is succeeding and is moving up and is doing his thing. You know, and we've always had that issue, you know, with being African American and us moving forward in life. You know what I mean? And it always has been an issue. But like I said, with being on the field, like, as long as you perform and you work hard and you do your thing, nobody can come after you. You know what I mean? And if they do, it's hate. They're jealous and they're just hating. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. And that's
work hard. Yep.
That's been my experience with when people, you know, say something to me or, you know, there's some type of fight or issue. It's all been out of jealousy and hate. You know what I mean? And it's tough, man, because like, I can't control it. You know what I mean? Being drafted out of high, I can only control who I am, how I treat others. You know what I mean? How I carry myself, how I create. You know, one of the biggest things for me is like creating an accepting environment and an atmosphere where people feel valued. You know what I mean?
Love that.
But at the same time, like sports is competitive. You know what I mean? So like you gotta have that side where it's like F everyone, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the best player here. Like, when you're across that, when you step across those lines, like, you're the best player, period. Like, nobody can touch me. You gotta have that mindset.
Like a boxer when they come in. Same thing.
Right. And because, I mean, boxing, I mean, it's more one-on-one than any other sport. But pitching and facing a hitter is one-on-one too. Who's the best here? And you're gonna find out, you know, within a couple pitches. So, like, it's that balance, man, of, like, being humble, being a good person, like, you know what I mean? Like, being professional and then also stepping across the lines and being an absolute animal. So, like, being able to, like, balance that and, like, having that mental side. And, you know, I'm trying to work on that still with, like, my mental skills coach with the Reds and talking to him about, like, how I can really tap into both. I think I've done a good job at it, but I know it's going to get harder. You know, with being able to balance those personalities and to be able to still go out and compete, you know, as I get higher in this level and in this game, you know, it's going to get harder, you know. And I've talked to, you know, big league players that, you know, it is hard, you know, and I know it'll be a learning process for sure, you know. So I got to continue to stay humble and make sure that, you know, I'm open-minded, you know, when it comes to the process of developing.
Right. Well, thank you, man, Hunter. This has been awesome. You know, Hunter is signed with the Cincinnati Reds. He's doing great, and on the Sports Illustrated cover, that was dope too. So I know everybody was stoked about seeing that. So just continue to follow his journey. He's gonna be, he has a lot more coming. So Hunter, thank you, and we'll just continue to stay in touch like we've been doing, and hopefully, and after this passes, we'll have a video of another, interview where we can do some cool things, maybe get you on a skateboard or something.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm down.
But I look forward to catching up with you soon. Thank you guys so much, everybody, for watching and asking your questions. All right. God bless. And I'll see you soon, Hunter. Peace.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right. Bye-bye.